is a Bramble Jam podcast.
Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater.
Today we're discussing A 90's Christmas, which originally premiered on the Hallmark Channel on Friday, November 29th, 2024. When this podcast is over, follow us on Instagram. We are Girls Gone Hallmark.
Hey, if you want to join another Facebook group, hey, join ours.
You should.
Girls Gone Hallmark in Facebook groups.
I am hoping that by the time this episode drops, we will have crossed the 1,000-member mark. We're like 1 or 2 people away.
Really close.
It was one of those silly goals I set for the end of the year, and we hit it, so I'm very happy. Mm-hmm. So let's think about how big that group could be in 2025. We would love to hear from you. You can send us your emails, girlsgonehallmark@gmail.com. And from us, you are going to hear a synopsis.
A workaholic lawyer destined to spend Christmas alone is transported back to 1999 after an unexpected run-in with a particularly wise rideshare driver.
Marnie Benak directed. She has 20 previous directing credits, including Hallmark movies like Everything Puppies and Everything Christmas. Outside of the network, she's directed episodes of hit shows like Degrassi, The Next Generation.
Ryan Peckinpah wrote the script for A 90's Christmas. This marks Ryan's debut writing credit on IMDb. A quick Google search reveals that Ryan has also performed as a stand-up comic in the LA area. Additionally, he serves as an associate professor of English at a University of California school and achieved a significant milestone in 2018 by optioning his first script to Disney.
Hey, cool. Ava Bourne plays Lucy. Ava has 33 acting credits and has been in a ton of Hallmark projects, including Make Me a Match from 2023, 60 episodes of When Calls the Heart as Clara, and 14 garage sale mystery movies as Hannah. Bingo! Ava also appears as Princess Ava on the ABC series Once Upon a Time. Who the heck is Princess Eva?
You tell me. That's a show I've never seen. Chandler Massey plays Matt. I honestly at one point was like, that's Chandler Massey.
Mm-hmm.
Does not
in the beginning of the movie.
The entire thing. Think he looked like him? Chandler has 23 acting credits and was last seen on Hallmark in Mystic Christmas from 2023. He's probably best known for playing Will Horton in the longtime running soap Days of Our Lives.
Catherine Burrell plays Grace. You might remember Catherine as the lead in this year's Shifting Gears. This year?
It was early this year.
2024 has been a long year. Yeah. Opposite Tyler Hines. This movie marks her 32nd acting credit.
Alex Hook plays Alexa. This movie marks the first Hallmark movie for Alex. However, fans of the series The Way Home know her as Teenage Cat.
Kate Drummond plays Tina. Kate just appeared in this year's To Have a Holiday. You might also recognize her as the mom whose private jet got stranded in last year's Christmas Island.
Jenny Raven plays friend Nadine with 47 acting credits and an appearance in 1 episode of The Good Witch. This appears to be her first Hallmark movie.
We're going to take a quick break and come right back for First Impressions. Wendy, what's your first impression?
Why are you giggling?
Because my first impression makes me laugh.
Okay, so does mine. I love Rain right now.
Go ahead.
My first impression is We Can Leave. What's up? No! In the 90s. Do you have the same one?
My first impression is simply, what's up?
I say, we can leave it. Let's leave it. I don't miss that.
No, but like sometimes I still say it.
What?
And you're always like, what is happening?
I have that reaction to you?
Yes.
I can't recall. Oh my gosh, you're going to have to point it out next time you do it.
If you are a young listener of this podcast, just Google it. It's an old Bud Light activation.
Why did I think for some reason it was connected to Taco Bell, but it wasn't, right?
I think it's Bud Light.
It is Bud Light. What's that? Oh my God. I remember people would actively say that to each other.
Yeah, I know. I laughed out loud when Nadine says it.
That was funny.
Let us talk what we liked about A 90's Christmas.
Sign me up for any time travel genre movie.
Look, I'm a 90s kid. I mean, like I was born in 1979. So like the 90s were like my teenage years. I identify pop culturally very much with the 90s.
Yeah.
And I think the 90s are often an overlooked decade. Like I think we spend a lot of time talking about the 80s
Yeah.
as a, pop cultural touchstone. And I don't think we got a lot of great things pop culturally out of the 90s. That doesn't mean I don't like the movies of the 90s.
Yeah, me too.
I very much identify with that. And so while I could have used more references, I did find many of the references quite satisfying.
Yeah, so did I. That was probably the biggest thing I was excited about, is to see like what are they going to put in this movie that's going to feel relevant to me and my time growing up in the 90s. I mean, of course, we have The Way Home, and that season 1, they were in the 90s as well, right? Well, like
1999.
yeah, you're right. Oh, the same year, actually. Well, it's funny that Alex is in this.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, I really like that. What I liked best about this movie, though, is that Lucy's trip wasn't about fixing her life. Instead, it was about helping like the people around her change their future, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't about simply fixing her own life.
Yes.
Yeah. It wasn't simply like that, she and Matt needed to get together. It was
Right.
that Matt needed to realize her dreams.
Right.
And it wasn't that like Alex, like she has a better relationship with her. It's that like she and her mom understand her better. Like all of these things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really enjoyed like how supportive she was of her sister.
That is a highlight scene.
Yeah, I thought so. It was so good.
I cried. I'm not sure we've gotten like a coming out scene in a Hallmark movie. And I thought it was really nicely done.
I agree. And then for me, the end montage was a standout in this movie. I love a montage, but the way,
flash forward of her life.
yes, the way they did it I thought was so cool. And I just love like seeing the ripple effect of like her journey back to 1999. That was so cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really well done, and that they included like Nadine hitting it big with her stocks, and Alex getting married, and the fact that Alex married her. Like
Yes.
she performed her wedding. I mean, I think it's really fun. The 90s, I mean, we talked about the 90s, but like the Joshua Jackson reference, super relatable. Like,
Did you see that?
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I have a little bit of commentary about that, but I'll wait for that segment.
I just think it's like a lot of the references that contrast like the 90s versus today, like you can milk an almond. That
Yeah.
was really funny. A lot of like internet references.
Yeah.
And I think my husband, when we were watching this, was like, she keeps like making mistakes, like talking about things that don't exist. And I was like, yeah, because that's her life. You forget that you don't have, the internet or, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, like text me something like what is that? Or
Yeah, when she's like Y2K is going to be a non-issue.
I thought that was so funny.
And they're like, who knows? Now, one of my Roman empires is that Y2K was a big issue. And the only reason it was not a non-issue is because many people worked very hard in order to make it not a non-issue. But we have like retconned it and to be like, oh, we blew that into nothing. No, because we made a big deal out of it, they pre-solved the problem.
Oh, I'm thinking because we didn't have like the info at our fingertips. Like we weren't consuming like doom scrolling about it at that time.
But do you remember like they made like stuffed animals that were the Y2K bug?
I don't remember.
Like
kind of vaguely.
I mean,
remember
people
that,
were
now
like,
that you
banks
say
are going to
it.
shut down. The world is like, things are going to fail. And that didn't happen. And the reason it didn't happen is because some very smart computer scientists figured out the solution ahead of time.
Okay. Did you clock the lobster friends thing from Go?
No.
Really?
Yeah. No, it didn't.
Shocked by that.
I didn't
For how
make the
many times
connection.
you've watched that series?
I know.
Yeah,
He's her lobster.
I immediately knew that's what they were referring to.
Yeah, you're smarter than I am.
And the fact that she spoiled it then was really funny too. And he's like, I don't think that's happened yet. Anyway, is it Ava Bourne?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought she was so great.
Uh-huh.
I loved her in this lead role. I know she's been in a bunch of other Hallmark things, but she deserves.
She
I
was
think
so good.
put her in some more movies.
She's got great hair.
Dude, her hair. At one point, I'm like, am I looking at Sarah James?
Why are you covering them?
I don't know, because like I feel like she's a private person and I don't want to say her name out loud.
She's 100% not. She makes a living posting herself online under her real name.
Oh, she does?
Let me look right now. Girlfriend was in a Pantene commercial. No, it literally says her first and last name on her Instagram profile.
Okay, she was giving Sarah James vibes.
We will link Sarah James' Instagram profile below. She's Whirl on Instagram. She used to have a website called Hair Thursday. Like she was in a Pantene commercial.
Yeah, I know.
Girl's got great hair.
Great
I'm
hair.
telling the listeners.
Okay, I'm all, yeah, I know.
I know you know. She spoke at an event we hosted. Wendy's like, I know who she is. I know Wendy knows who she is. I mean, one of my notes is like, do I think this is the breakout hit of the year? Obviously, I do not. Did I find it just sweet enough to thoroughly enjoy watching it? Yeah, I did. I saw some commentary that was like, this movie sucked. And I was like, I disagree.
I saw a lot of commentary about like, this was the worst thing this year, blah, blah, blah.
And I just did not feel that way. I'm like, let me suspend disbelief. Yes, she went back to her 1999 self. I am going to allow myself to believe that.
Give me all the time travel.
Like, Star Wars isn't realistic, people. Like, come on. The Avengers is not realistic. Tony Stark does not exist. Let me enjoy a little suspension of disbelief.
Now, let me ask you, if somebody comes to you and is a rideshare driver and they're like, yeah, I'm taking you like back to the future or whatever, would you be like, GTFO?
Well, I mean, she didn't tell her that. Like, it was too late.
She woke up and was like back in the 90s or
But there's
whatever.
nothing she could do about it at that point.
No, I know, but okay. Or if you're a friend and your friend comes to you and says like, I'm from the future, do you go, all right?
I'm inclined to believe stuff like that. Are you ready to talk wishes?
Yeah.
Oh, so I really liked that montage as well. Like I got kind of emotional watching it.
Same.
But I always wonder, because I think, what's the train time travel movie?
With Lindsay Fonseca.
And Chandler Massey.
Oh, you're right. I can't remember what it's called right now.
Okay, there's the train time travel movie with Lindsay Fonseca.
Yeah.
And in that movie, I think we have a lot of these movies where they like make a change in their past. Mm-hmm. And then like they return to the future and there's like a fast forward situation. And I'm like, did that person get to live it? Or are they just like now being flooded with the memories of their life? And part of me feels really sad about the fact that they would have had this great life and she hasn't actually lived it. Yes. She just has the memory of it.
Yeah, that is sad.
But I don't know. Maybe we're to believe that like she did live it and she's like, realize. I don't know.
That's a very good question.
I get in the time travel weeds a little bit.
I think so. Okay. Did this movie lean too heavily into Back to the Future?
I mean,
was it a full ripoff?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, because what's interesting is they actually reference Back to the Future.
Yes.
And then they have the disappearing letter, which is obviously a straight rip from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Where's the line between like tribute to, inspired by, and just yoink an entire storyline?
Totally.
I don't know.
Totally. I was like watching it and I was like, oh, the letters are disappearing just like in Back to the Future. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
It feels like a real ripoff.
You are changing your future a little bit too much.
Yeah. So
But you know, Hot Tub Time Machine does the same thing.
love that.
It does the same thing, right? With the kid who starts to kind of like become invisible as like his parents' meeting becomes less inevitable. So it's not the first time this thing has happened.
Sure.
I will say that as an aside, when we watched Hot Frosty, Craig Robinson is in that movie. He was, of course, also in the Hot Tub Time Machines. Mm-hmm. And as soon as he walks on screen, my husband goes, oh my gosh, Craig, get out of this movie and go make Hot Tub Time Machine 3.
I mean, I wonder why they haven't made a third version of that movie. Like, it feels like a favorite.
Yeah, I don't know. It's got to be expensive. Those are expensive actors.
I mean, Craig Robertson.
John Cusack, Chevy Chase.
I mean, those are expensive. Time out. Time out. Chevy Chase is supposed to have a Christmas movie out this year that Chris Palaha is in.
Yes.
Where is it?
It's on Hoopla, and I'm trying to watch it before tomorrow when we talk to Chris
I thought
Palaha.
that was a theatrical release.
I don't know. Hopefully that interview happened. If it didn't, surprise. And I saw that and I was like, Chevy Chase and Dennis Quaid, who it's like a Christmas Vacation reunion. And I went to look like where it's streaming, and it's on Hoopla, which I was actually going to try and. So
WTF is Hoopla? Is this is the library card thing?
We talk about it in every single episode of Finding Mr. Christmas.
But why did it go to? Wait, where is it streaming at then?
I use hot tip. We are not talking about this movie anymore. I use an app called Just Watch, and you can look up shows and it'll tell you all the apps it's streaming on.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know where that came from. What are we talking about? Oh, Chevy Chase. You were just like having a moment.
Let's get back on. I don't care. A lot of people have talked about this. The whole age of the characters.
Yeah.
Make it make sense to me.
Look, this was a conversation in our Facebook group, and I'll say here what I said there. You have the challenge of this isn't a time travel movie. They're not like going back as their future selves. They're going back into their past selves. Mm-hmm. So these actors have to play both the 1999 and the 2024 versions of themselves.
Right.
Which, by the way, I think correspondent Mike pointed out that like she's too young to be playing the 2024 version of herself. So I think they had to pick actors who like didn't look 40, but didn't look 20 either.
Yeah.
They both have very young faces. They're both rather young looking. But again, this is a suspension of like, give her bangs and take away her glasses, and she's young, and part Chandler's hair in the middle, and he's young too.
But he had the same hair though.
He did have that center part. It was shaggier maybe in the past.
I mean, I appreciate it because I remember my husband having hair like that too at one point.
So, oh yeah, parted in the middle.
Yeah, 100%. But you know, it makes it hard for me to be like, what time frame are we in? Because you look the same.
Yeah, but you're also accepting that you've got this like time traveling guru who travels by Volkswagen Bug, and she's alerted to changing the past every time the 12 Days of Christmas appears.
Yes.
Okay.
Another thing that I wished for, I thought it was unrealistic to blame Lucy for not staying close to her high school friends when she's off working towards her career.
Yeah.
How many high school friends are you that close to?
None.
And so I was like,
I might be a jerk though. I'm not the
well, me too.
Gold standard. But I also don't think it's 100% my fault.
I mean, people grow up, and not that you grow out of relationships, but your future takes you different places.
Yeah.
And it's not like being in homeroom with your BFF every day for the last 4 years. You're now like off in college and you don't see each other anymore, and it's just different.
You know, I do feel like kind of a jerk though, because my parents have high school friends. Like some of their best friends are still their best friends from high school.
That's admirable.
But not me. Any more wishes?
No. What about you?
I'm ready to talk. Did you see that?
All right. I have a couple here.
Me too. Go ahead.
Well, you talked about it earlier, the Joshua Jackson doodle.
Yeah.
Funny for a couple reasons. One, because like he's having a moment again.
Yes.
You know, he's in that new show like Dr. Odyssey, but they would have filmed this before that came out, obviously.
Yeah.
Why choose Josh Jackson?
I mean, 1999 is kind of like peak Dawson's Creek. He definitely was. Yeah.
But I don't remember people like loving him then.
Pacey?
Did people love Pacey?
People loved
I remember
Pacey.
at the end of that series, like I loved Pacey.
People loved. I mean, I think you were either Team Dawson or Team Pacey, but
what I thought was weird about the scene is she like sees it and goes, "Oh, Lucy," and I was like, "But why, oh, Lucy?" Like it would have been funnier if it was a doodle of somebody who like isn't in great standing today.
yeah, or you're like, well, that was a choice. Yes, but maybe she's like, it's just the idea that you're doodling the name of a celebrity,
right?
An unattainable person.
Fair.
As opposed to doodling the name of your next door neighbor bestie.
Fair. I have two others.
Yeah.
They are on the ice skating rink.
Mhm.
Why are there decorated trees and potted poinsettias?
All the time. They do this all the time. It's such a hazard.
How are you ice skating when there's trees on the rink? And they're decorated and lit. So tell me, like, how does that work? Shooting the scene. They're like pretending to ice skate around these things because there's got to be extension cords that are like running to plug these trees in.
Good point.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
I agree with you.
I don't get it. I don't get why they do that.
When she is in her glasses, when she's old Lucy, I don't think there's glass in her glasses. I
didn't think so either.
I don't think there's a lens in there. I noticed it, and listener Mackie also shared with us the poster in her room is a She's All There poster, a play on the movie She's All That, starring Hallmark actress Rachel Lee Cook.
Yeah.
The final thing is, why is Grace's steering wheel on the right-hand side of her car?
I was wondering that too. Like she was, what the heck is that lady's name? You know, remember like the nanny who would come to your house and like help whip your kids and not whip, but shape your kids.
Joe Frost.
Yeah. But what was her show called?
Super Nanny.
Super Nanny. And wasn't her like steering wheel on the other, because she was from England.
Maybe it's just supposed to be like a sign that like she is not of this world. Something here is not quite right.
I was wondering that too. I don't know. That's a good question. It was never explained though, right?
No.
Never explained.
She's like, look at my magic time traveling bug.
Yeah, that's so weird. She had such a big role in shifting gears, and like was such a small role in comparison.
Yeah, is it? I think it's on par with all the other supporting actors.
Yeah, maybe.
She's kind of driving the story forward quite a bit.
Literally.
What is your rate? A 90s Christmas.
I gave it 3.5 stars.
I gave it 3 stars. Thank you for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark, a Bramble Jam podcast. We hope you're enjoying this barrage of episodes coming at you this week. We will be back with more. I don't even know if that's true. We'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe, just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product. Bye.